Okay. All right, I'm going to start the meeting because we do have a lot more to cover than I realized, but it's a lot of good stuff. Um, so let me share my screen. I am going to share my PowerPoints as well. And like I said, I'm recording this. So you'll have a recording of it. And please stop me at all if you have any questions as I'm going through this. Okay. You see the Created to Be logo? Awesome. Thank you. Oh no, I lost my chat though. All right. Okay. I'm not sure where my chat went on my screen, but if you have any questions, please just unmute yourself and let me know your question because I'm not sure where my chat went on my screen. But all right. Okay. I am so sorry. There we are. I'm just trying to turn my volume here. Please bear with me. There's a finance meeting also here tonight. I thought I was going to be by myself, but they are leaving. So in case you hear any background noise, that's just the finance team leaving. Alrighty, so perfect. Again, I'm going to be sharing my PowerPoints. Please stop me if you have any questions. I know there's a lot of information tonight, a lot of updates, which I know some of you received. Some wasn't all communicated. So just please let me know if you have any questions. All right, so I'm going to start with what our schedule is going to look like. So this is for our specific synod in our regions. Tuesday, the only thing you have coming in is the mass gathering at night, and we are going to go over details on all these areas as well. On Wednesday is the interactive learning day, so that will be the convention center. On Thursday, July 18th will be the accompaniment day. And then on Friday, July 19th will be Synod Day / Region Day. And I will give an update on that as we get there. Saturday, the only thing on Saturday is the closing worship from 9:30 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. It is being advised that you don't need a pack for the full day, that every day you will have time to go back to your hotels, to change, to kind of debrief. Everything is walking distance, so don't feel like you need to pack everything at the beginning of your days. All right. So as you arrive for the youth gathering, your registration will be at the convention center. So if you see on the screen, there's the Julia Street. That corner right there is your entrance into the convention center. And that's where you will go in to register, get your wristbands. You'll get your orange t-shirts that day too for the accompaniment day. If you're arriving on Monday, July 15th, you will be able to register from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you're arriving on Tuesday, July 16th, the registration will then be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm going to be referring and talking about community life a lot, but still have a couple of questions that I've been reaching out to the ELCA to get some clarification on. And I'm still waiting on. I asked them twice and I haven't heard back yet. But I'm going to give as much information as I have on community life as I was given. I was at a training in January in New Orleans, and I'm just trying to get some clarification on what was presented then. But community life is supposed to be open during registration hours to allow kids to, or to youth, to allow them to go out and explore the community life. However, it's only being communicated that it's open from 1 to 6:30 at this time. Again, once I get clarity on all this, I will make sure to communicate it with you if that changes at all. But that, I believe, is it for registration. Just an update on housing if you haven't done so already. All this is through your portal. Deadlines for payments for housing is April 30th. If you have any changes that need to be updated, whether it's you're adding people to the room or taking away people from the room, make sure that you email gathering@elca.org with your congregational ID. At any point you do not want to contact the hotel directly either because they're not associated with with the whole gathering. So only the gathering office can really make your adjustments to your housing assignments. There will be volunteers at each hotel as well to help answer any questions. I believe they're going to be there throughout the whole stay too. So that's your contact point person too, if you have any questions while you're down in New Orleans at your hotel. An update that I know was communicated was the transportations from the hotel to or from the airports to the hotel and to and from. We're partnering with a motor coach company. It was communicated that it's $25 per person per each way. I just went online today to double check to see if that included taxes and fees. It does not. There's actually an additional $2 service fee plus a $2 airport fee, and that is per person. So it is actually $27 per person each way. There's an FAQ page on the motor site as well that's basically saying that vehicles will be picking up and dropping off every 20 to 30 minutes. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be a stop or one stop from airport to your hotel. It's going to be making multiple stops along the way. It looks like they're using 56 passenger motor cars. So it's going to be a bunch of youth. If everybody's traveling to your hotel, then it might be one stop, but just keep that in mind as you're arriving. I'm not really sure about the pickup now that I think of it on your return. But there's also the return. So if you're returning on July 20th, the departure is prior to noon. So before the final closing worship service, if you're departing before that, you will be picked up at your hotel only. Anything after that, so after the final gathering, until 2 p.m., you will be able to be picked up at the stadium. There will have a secured luggage holding area. There is more details coming about that soon on where exactly will that be, but that will also allow your youth to take your luggage to the stadium, keep it there, and then use the transportation. If you decide to go about this shuttle service, this is not something you necessarily need to do, but it is an option for you. The ELCA is also recommending that you approximately 4 hours before your flight time, just because of the high amount of travelers checking in and getting through security. There was also a note on the website that all sales are final, so no refunds or cancellations after the booking is completed on that. However, going back to the price, that $27 per person was communicated at the training that does include gratuity. So that was a question too. All right, any questions on registration or when you show up?
Stacy,
yes.
will you be able to send us this PowerPoint? This is perfect
Yeah.
to share with my congregation as well.
Exactly. Yep. I will be sharing the PowerPoints. I have a couple of other documents too that were handed out that I think would be really helpful about medical and security. So I'll make sure that I emailed this all to you, most likely tomorrow. But yeah, I'll get it to you.
No rush. It's just, before July. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. All righty. So I'm going to jump into the mass gathering. The mass gathering will be on Tuesday, July 16th till Friday. On Saturday is your closing gathering. There'll be an open time at the Champion Square. The Champion Square will open at 4:30. I did double check. That is still something that they are planning on using because of the change of venue. But they are, and that more details will be coming out, they said, at the end of April on that. But the doors for the mass gathering will open at 5:30. Your groups will be able to go in, and then from 7 to 8:45 is when the mass gathering will occur. I know it was communicated last week. We received notification like the night before saying that the Superdome was under construction and that changes have been made to the Smoothie King Center. That, if you see on the, I'm sorry, let me switch over. There we are. The Smoothie King Center, if you look on the map, this is where the Superdome is. The Smoothie King is literally right across the street. It's not that much further away. It's not really going to take any extra time. From the convention center to the Smoothie King, it's showing about a 25 to 30 minute walk. There's also streetcars available, which is about a 25-minute ride. So it doesn't necessarily save you time. It just probably saves you energy. The same from Jackson Square. If you're up in that area, that's about a 30-minute walk from Jackson Square to the Smoothie King Center. So honestly, it's really not that big of a distance for the change from the Superdome to the Smoothie King. One benefit, I really think that changing these stadiums is going to benefit us is that the Caesar Superdome seated 76,000 people. And the Smoothie King Stadium seats, it said for concerts, 17,805 people. And not right now, I'm sorry. I think in January it was communicated that we had roughly a little over 14,000 people registered for the gathering. So I really feel this is going to make it feel more of like the gathering for those who have been to the gathering previously. It's going to make it really feel packed in there. So yeah, and again, just keep in mind too, that none of the youth attending the gathering has ever attended a gathering before. So they're not going to know what the experience of a Superdome is versus the basketball stadium. The only people who are really going to notice are the people who have attended previously. So some speakers that were mentioned at the training that they're looking into or have already booked is Dr. Michael Chen. He is the Vice President for Mission and Inclusion at Concordia College. There was also mention of Pastor Emily Norris, who works with homeless shelters through the Dwelling Project. I believe that's down in North Carolina. They mentioned a bishop from Tanzania, which I'm not sure if that's the one that we recently had in our synod, but it was just mentioned a bishop from Tanzania. And then also Pastor Sally Azar, who was the first female Palestinian pastor of the Holy Land. So some of those are the exciting speakers that will be mentioned. No mention of what bands will be playing. But yeah, I think that'd be good. Some of the policies that have been being communicated are just, and things to keep in mind is the cashless venues, the clear water bottles, and the clear bags as well. So the cashless venues will be used at the Superdome and the Convention Center. So just make sure that when you're purchasing food at the concessions, to make sure that you have a credit card or debit card. They will not accept cash. The only place that accepts cash is Cafe du Monde. They actually only accept cash. So if that is something that you're looking to take your group to, make sure you have some cash on you for that only moment. Clear water bottles too. Anything that's clear or translucent, but not glass. So the ones pictured there are from Old Lutheran. Those are the appropriate type of water bottles that would be allowed into the venues. Right. The other policy that was mentioned was the clear bags. We as a synod are actually purchasing bags for everybody attending in our synod. So these bags do meet all the regulations and the sizing that the ELCA is advising. These will be handed out at the April 27th event. If you're not able to attend that event, we will make sure that we'll be able to get you those bags either at Synod Assembly is another area to pick them up, or we can always make arrangements through picking them up at the Synod office as well. If you're really looking to purchase your own bags too, you can go through Old Lutheran. They do have, again, the approved bags as well as the bottles, but just keep in mind that you don't need to go out and look for clear plastic bags, that we are going to try to help you out and provide those to you. All right, so that's all I really have for mass gathering. Any questions on mass gathering before we jump into the interactive learning? Okay. So interactive learning day is on Wednesday, July 17th. Our times are from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's not too much detail on the interactive learning day right now, but this is a map of the Convention center, it typically does take up a majority of the convention center. It was suggested once the details and the maps come out to know and try to plan what your day looks like. So kind of figure out which groups you want to go to, which which activities you want to do, so you really make the most of your day. Keep in mind, clear bags are required anytime that you go to the convention center. So make sure you have your clear bags there. Some groups that they refer to that will be there will be Amparo, World Hunger, Reconciling Christ. They'll have seminaries there, plus they'll have the typical type of activities that they would have at previous gatherings. So they'll have the inflatables, doing zip lines, they'll do the giving of the blood as well, the giving of the blood. Sounds so weird. But this is also a time where you can also bring your in-kind donations. We are giving an opportunity at the April 27th event to bring your in-kind donations. So that's the first aid kits, the personalized first aid kits. Each region was given a specific item to bring to create a hurricane kit, and our region was given personalized or personal first aid kits. So if you are taking your own to New Orleans, this would be a time where you would be able to drop them off at the convention center. But as an ease and something that you don't need to think about, you can always bring them to the April 27th event, and we will take care of them for you as well. This again is a little where I'm kind of confused on the difference of interactive day and community life. It is saying that the community life is open at 1 o'clock. So it is to my assumption, and again, I'm trying to get clarification on this, but it's to my assumption that the groups will have, if it is your assigned day, you'll have from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. until it's open to the rest of the public. So at 1 o'clock, there's a potential that it'll be open to the rest of the gathering. So if groups are finishing up for the day, they'll be able to come in and interact. So it's probably going to be prime or a nice time for you to really get throughout the rooms between 10 and 1. But again, I want to clarify all that before I really set that in stone, but just kind of keep that in mind, because that's how I'm interpreting it at this moment. But again, once I get that clarified, I will let you know.
That sounds like what they've done in the past, Stacey.
Okay. And I thought so too, because I remember it getting a little more crowded at a specific time. I just don't know why they're calling it two different things. Why it's calling interactive day or interactive learning and then community life. But just keep in mind, so that's also open for you as well. So if it's not Wednesday and you want to come back on Thursday or Friday, you can definitely do that. It's just you would have to show up at 1 o'clock. The only day you cannot do that is on Thursday, because it will be closed for the young adults from 3:30 to 5:30. So just keep that in mind. All right. So that is what I have for Interactive Learning Day, which takes us into Accompaniment Day on Thursday, July 18th. So your day will start between 7 or 9 a.m. and then your group will actually launch around 8 to 10 a.m. And we'll go into further details as I get to the schedule for the accompaniment day. But just as a recap of what projects are available, and I believe those are getting assigned to, they're definitely getting assigned to you ahead of time. I'm not sure if they're showing up in your portal or not yet. And I know there's definitely changes. I actually just received these updated PowerPoints yesterday, which changed since I've got them last. The main reason why they're not saying what you will be doing is because things and needs are changing down in New Orleans. So they want to make sure that they're up to date and current when we're going down in July compared to the needs that could have been needed back in January. So that's why nothing's really going to be communicated until basically the day of when you arrive. But there's 3 different type of projects. There's the action projects, which will basically be the hands-on or the physical projects. That will be out in neighborhood organizations, community organizers, and throughout schools. And then we also have the advocacy projects. That's going to help to use your voice. It's going to help youth identify about what they care about, and here's a way that I can actually help do this. And partners that they're working with is the ELCA Gender Justice, the ELCA World Hunger, the Global Education Organization, and the anti-racism programs. And then the last type of project is awareness, and that's more of the culture and learning about it, and then figuring out how you can do that back at home. So partners that they're working with currently are local filmmakers, jazz bands, and second line dancers. All right, so then your daily overview. Basically, you will get a text the night before of your accompaniment day. So this is Thursday. You'll be getting it on Wednesday night. Basically, you will just want to reply back to that text and say, yep, it's going to be the person's name, and they'll tell you where to meet you. So after that, you'll definitely want to make sure that your group is fed. In the morning, it's going to be early morning, so maybe having breakfast in the hotel room, or just making sure that you have bagels or granola bars or something in the morning, but make sure that your group is fed before you leave. You'll then gather at your launch site to meet your servant accompaniment. I'm sorry, your servant companion. You're going to hear about what you're going to do at that time with them. And then you will join in the project to accompany our neighbors throughout the 3 different type of projects. After the project is done, you'll have a debrief with your servant companion. At that point, you'll be able to make sure that you can go home and share and continue the work that you did at your accompaniment day. Keep in mind that unlike previous gatherings, lunch will not be provided. The gathering is, all projects will be ending by 1 o'clock. So you will then have the opportunity to go out and have lunch throughout New Orleans. So again, basically from 1 o'clock until either 5:30 when the doors open at the mass gathering, that is going to be a time that you will be able to go out into New Orleans, have lunch, again, change if you're out doing a sweaty project, and just get ready for the mass gathering. Okay, along with the accompaniment is transportation. There will be 3 different types of way that you'll be able to get transferred. So if you're going out of the city, you will then hop onto a gathering bus that will be meeting at the convention center. You'll either be walking to the convention center and then doing a project at the convention center, or there's the third option, and I'm not sure if anybody has signed up for this, but it's drive your own transportation. And again, that's something that you would have signed up through your portal. I think a lot of local groups might have been doing this more. It's when you have your actual own transportation. So if someone's driving to New Orleans, that would be an option for them too. To use. So first option again is by bus. So this again is if your group is going outside of the city, you'll meet at the convention center. Right now they are saying that it's Hall G, and that would be either at 7:30, 8 o'clock, or 8:30. Participants will arrive at Hall G, and then again, basically meet and learn what their project is, and load on the bus, and then depart to go to your project. The second one, again, is walking. So basically, you'll be walking from your hotel to the convention center. The times are very similar to when you would meet. Again, you would meet at the convention center, meet with your servant companion, and be guided on what your project would be that day. So it would most likely be at the convention center then for that project. And then again, that third option, if you are driving yourself, again, this was something that you would have needed to sign up through the portal. And I'm not sure if that's still an option or not. If you're interested in doing that, I don't know. I don't know if I would encourage it as much with us coming so far, unless you're getting some sort of rental vehicle, that might be an option. And this is the only project where they're actually going to tell you ahead of time. So before the gathering, where you will be, what you're going to do. So that is a slight peace of mind if you are having a rental vehicle. And again, I can always check in if somebody is interested in doing this and see if there is still time to sign up for this option. But that's basically the drive yourself option then. All right. Things to keep in mind to pack. And I did just get clarification on this because I saw this in the updated PowerPoint. It says everyone is encouraged to bring a clear backpack. It was suggested that it should be a clear backpack since everybody is meeting at the convention center and they want to make sure that they're abiding by the convention center guidelines. So they are encouraging to bring your clear backpack, and you want to make sure that you pack water, sunscreen, bug spray, umbrella, poncho, snacks, cell phones. And again, as I said before, there's definitely time to go back to your hotel before going to the mass gathering. Things to keep in mind to wear. It is going to be very hot. I was down in New Orleans in 2015 for this, and it was very hot. So just keep that in mind as you are getting dressed and as your youth are getting dressed for the day. This is the day that you will be wearing your orange accompaniment shirt that you will be receiving at the registration. You do want to keep in mind probably wearing shorts, but I know when I was down there, we also did a lot of weeding as well. So maybe some tall socks or something. Typically, if you're out doing a hands-on project, they'll provide you gloves in case you're painting or doing some sort of yard work. Definitely closed shoes and closed high shoes or heel shoes. I would not suggest any sort of sandals. So make sure they have sneakers, hats and sunglasses, and again, sunscreen and bug spray. Any questions on the accompaniment day? If not, we are going to move into Synod Day / Region Day. So that will be one of the final days on Friday, July 19th. We'll have a 45-minute worship service, and that will either be at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. I believe we're waiting until either April 15th or the 30th just to get final numbers so we know which groups will be at what times and what locations. So the location has not been determined yet either, but it will be either at the Hyatt, I believe the Hyatt Superdome, the Marriott or the Sheraton. So we're basically calling it Synod / Region Day because if you've been at a gathering previously, it was known as Synod Day, where your synod comes together to have a worship service. Numbers have been pretty low, and synods a majority of them have less than 200 people registered. So the ELCA decided that it would be nice to put together regions to make the room feel full and to have a full experience with your region. Our region is Region 7, so that includes New Jersey Synod, New England Synod, Metro New York Synod, Upstate New York Synod, our Synod, Northeastern, and then also Southeastern Pennsylvania. So all of us at the time that we met recently, we have 880 people meeting for our Region Day. We're dividing up different areas of the worship service, and we will be looking for participants to help lead worship in our synod. So if you have anyone in mind that you think would really enjoy doing this and that would feel comfortable being in front of 800 people, definitely reach out to me. If not, I'm going to be also looking on April 27th to see if anybody would really enjoy being able to participate in the worship service. This is also the day that you would be wearing your green Synod t-shirts. So if your congregation ordered these t-shirts, this would be the day to wear them. Will be very bright and sticking out. So just keep that in mind. So after or before the worship service, the ELCA put together what is called a goose chase. And I'm not sure if people are as familiar. I was not familiar with it, but my two sisters who are teachers are very familiar with this app. It was very fun. It's going to be a way to explore the French Quarter. It's like a scavenger hunt, and we will be able to learn the history, the smells, and they're trying to include all different types of scents throughout this whole experience. So the French Quarters would be your Jackson Square, where the Café du Monde area is. This is what the app kind of looks like. There's different missions that you will need to accomplish, and there's different points. So it's kind of like a game, and you can always see who's winning and how to catch up with different points. So again, there's different categories. If you see on the mission where the little app is, there's an icon that shows a camera. That mission would be to take a picture. The picture to the left is one that we did out in January. We needed to go find this picture of this phone, which I'm guessing might be part of the goose chase when we go back out in July. It took a little time to find it, but it was really fun to find. And once you find it, you need to take a picture with your group. The little icon of the blue with the document is more of asking questions. So it might ask you a question about something located in New Orleans and you have to type in the answer. And then the final icon there with the little location icon at the bottom, it's more of checking in somewhere. So with your GPS on your phone, you'll check in, it will log it, and there's going to be volunteers through the ELCA that are monitoring all of these. So if it's not the right location, they're going to deny it and you'll have to try again. But honestly, I thought it was really fun. We are going to be doing a little one on April 27th as well during the registration hours. So from 9 to 10, we'll be doing a sample goose chase throughout Emmanuel's, learning about Emmanuel's history and just trying to get a little more comfortable with the app. So that is what I have for Synod/Region Day. Any questions though on that? If not, we will jump into the very questionable community life and hotel life. Community life is scheduled for Tuesday, July 16th until Friday. It will be open from 1 o'clock to 6:30. And then hotel life will be open starting on Tuesday. So when we arrive on Tuesday, or the first official day of the gathering, at 9:15 to 10:45. So the gathering will end at 8:45. This will allow your groups to go out the 3 different zones to continue the adrenaline after a mass gathering. So I'm going to jump a little bit into community life. And these descriptions just really make me think that it is the interactive learning. And again, once I get that clarification, I will make sure to communicate that to you if these are the same things or 2 separate areas. But the community life area is located at the convention center, and it includes all different kind of games, inflatables. The ELCA carpool karaoke sounds awesome. There'll be time to meet the speakers and artists that are at the main stage. I mean, the Hammock Village also sounds really nice. But it'll just be a nice area, especially if there's raining or anything, to let your youth go out and just explore and interact, network with one another too. So that's the community life. The hotel life, again, there are 3 different zones for this. So if you're staying at any of these hotels, that's kind of a bonus for you. Zone 1 is at the Hilton Riverside. Zone 2 will be Marriott and Sheraton on Canal Street. Those are actually 2 different locations, but they're located right across the street from each other. And then Zone 3 will be at the Hyatt Superdome. That one will be opening at 4 o'clock. I think it's because it's so close to the Superdome, it's going to give another option for your groups to attend. But there was not clarification on if they were opening on Tuesday or Wednesday yet. If I get that, I'll make sure again to share that with you. At each of these zones, they're going to have spaces where you can dance. There's going to be quiet spaces, and again, times to meet the speakers from the different gatherings. All right, we're actually doing awesome on time. Oh my goodness. I found my chat. I'm sorry. I just saw it over there. Yes, yes, yes. Cool. All right. Just checking in on the chat. Yes. All right. Sorry, that was exciting. Okay, so just to keep in mind some key dates that are coming up that you want to make sure that are on your radar is April 30th. That is when final balances are due. So that's when deadline for cancellations or substitutions for hotel rooms, everything is finalized on April 30th. And also just kind of backtracking, April 15th is the last day to register completely. So if you do have anyone else in your group that's still a little hesitant, or if you know of any congregations that might be interested, April 15th in a couple of days, maybe a week, is the final day to register for the gathering. May 1st is when your G-Learning will come out for the adult leader trainings. That will need to be completed before you show up for registration. They are not going to let you register if your training was not complete. I'm sure you're going to receive various reminders on that G-Learning. May 15th, final details will be released. So hopefully everything that I'm saying to you, plus any updates, will be released on May 15th. And then June 15th, again, is that deadline for your G-Learning training. So make sure that you're on top of that as well. Some other days to keep in mind, if you're interested, are the ELCA webinars. So similar to what I'm telling you, they're just giving updates on what to expect. The logistics is really important. And then that final one with the final Q&A. If you're interested in attending any of those, you can go to the ELCA website. If you go to attend and then key dates, it will have a registration or have a link next to the date. You just want to click it and then that will allow you to register for it. Something else that was shared with us was a promotional code. So there will be some time to go out and do tours and cruises with your groups. So just keep that in mind that that this is an option. There is, if you go to visitneworleans.com, and they have all different types of tours. There's airport tours, airboat tours, there's swamp boat tours, the steamboat tours, so many others. But if you use the promotional code ELCA, and I just did this today to make sure that it works, it will give you 20% off the tours and cruises. So keep that in mind if you're looking to book cruises or tours. All right. And again, if groups have not registered yet, we have the Created to Be a Synod event that's on April 27th. It's at Emmanuel's. We have a really great size group coming. I am so excited for everybody to meet each other and to connect before we all go out to New Orleans. I'm so excited to meet people too. I've been working a lot through email and phone, so I'm really excited to put some names to faces. But if your group has not registered, final day to register is this Saturday. We really need to finalize some numbers and get all the details squared away. So just keep that in mind. Again, that's where you'll be able to pick up your Synod t-shirts. If you're not able to attend it, there will be other opportunities that we can communicate on when to pick up those t-shirts and the clear bags and all the information. As I mentioned too, the in-kind donations, you can always bring that to the event and we will take care of it for you. All right. And just kind of a final thing to stay connected with me. Everybody's been asking great questions. Keep them coming. I will help you out as much as I can. You can always reach out to me too in New Orleans. I will be down there with the Synod staff. I will be hopefully touching base with everybody too. I'd love to connect with every group while I'm down there. That is my cell phone number. I will again send this out too as we get closer. So if you have any questions, you can always call or text me. I will try to help you out as much as I can. Everybody will also receive a bracelet too. Once you're at registration, that will have an info line number on it. And that's going to, if you ever call that, it's going to help you with any sort of information. It will help you if you have any injuries or illnesses. There's also a chaplain available too. So if your group is having any sort of difficulties and you just need a chaplain, that option is available. It was communicated to us though, that if you lose your bracelet or if it's cut off or if it's broken off, there is no exception to any sort of replacement. A replacement band is basically going to cost you a late registration fee, which is $475 plus $50. So it would cost you $525 to get a replacement band. That was pretty,
Yikes.
yeah. Go buy a plane ticket. That's yeah, that was communicated pretty strong. I think there might have been a discount previous years, but they said that's the set amount. Again, I'm going to be sending out PowerPoints. There's a great medical FAQ page that we received along with safety and security document. So I'm going to send that all to you. Just checking the chat real quick. So yes, that is a great question. The question was, do all adult leaders have to complete the leader training? The G-learning, yes, it would need to be every chaperone attending. It's not just the head leader or just one person. It would need to be all of your chaperones attending. They all need to go on and fill out that G-learning course. All right, man, I did keep it under an hour. But does anybody have any additional questions? I know it was a lot of material. We've been getting a lot of material, and I'm trying to share it with you guys as much as I can, and I will continue sharing it. And if there's no questions, if you think of any, definitely please reach out. I am here. You can always call me, email. It's easier. You can always ask at the April 27th event too. Again, I know there's a lot of changes too. I want to just reiterate too that again, these youth have never been to a youth gathering. So the only people who are going to know this difference again is the people who have attended a gathering previously. I think it's really important just to make sure that we are not communicating negativity towards previous gatherings or towards this gathering, saying, oh, this isn't the same, or it was so much better doing this. These youth are going to have a blast. I think it's going to be so much fun. I'm looking so much forward to it. I also forgot to mention Deacon Kat Tigerman is also coming along to the gathering. So she's going to be available to answer questions. I'll see if she has a contact number that she would like to share, and I'll send that out. Along with Bishop DeForest, he will also be coming with us. He'll be on his bishop schedule though, so I'm not sure how much time he'll have with us. We are trying to have a lunch with the bishop though, which will be raffled off on April 27th. So we'll see, we can pull a name out of the hat to see which group can have lunch with the bishop as well. So we'll try to get that on his schedule. Question was, were the bracelets just paper or need to last the whole time? They do need to last the whole time. However, it's not like a concert bracelet. It's a heavier, duty bracelet. Like it would take a lot to rip it off. In all the years I've attended 3 of them. I've never had a group take one off. I think we've even had contests when we come back from the gatherings to see who lasts the longest. And I know I usually needed to cut mine off. It's usually like a plastic bracelet. Yeah, so it's not like the little tear easy ones that would come off from a concert. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna stop sharing here. But if nobody else has any questions, I definitely appreciate everyone being here. Again, if you think of any questions, please reach out to me. I'm always here to answer them. I will get back to you as soon as possible. I know sometimes I'm not as quick because I'm also waiting for the reply from the ELCA. But they've been pretty good with answering questions, minus the community life question. But once I get that clarification, I will let you guys know too. Yeah.
Thank you, Stacy.
Sure, Jamie.
This was great. Super helpful.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great time to connect to everybody too, in case anybody else had similar. I know everybody's been having similar questions across even our champion chat too. So.
And the clear backpacks that you're saying that the SIN is going to be providing, are they the ones that you had on that slide?
Yes.
The dimensions? That's awesome.
Yep.
That is so amazing. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I went on the old Lutheran because those are the ones that were approved, and I made sure it matched exactly with what the ones I was ordering.
Yeah, we were literally like just about to purchase, so that's amazing.
Good. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'll keep it a surprise for April 27th, and I was like, no, I probably should say something in case people are starting to order them. So
I'm glad you did. Yeah, thanks so much.
Sure.
It's awesome.
All right.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Jane. I just have a question on we're looking at our airfare to get there, and a lot of them, we're going down Monday and we're trying to return on Saturday, but a lot of the flights coming back leave at 11, 1 o'clock, and then they don't leave until 5, and then they're $600 more to come back later. How important is it to be there for the Saturday morning worship? I hate to miss it, but
Yeah, no, I've been noticing that too, because I'm trying to find flights for myself as well. So it's really up to you on your preference. It's a neat experience, but if you've experienced the mass gathering throughout the other nights, it would be very similar to that. It's just more of a worship service kind of style. There's Holy Communion distributed that day. They'll be typically they have some sort of processional, and so it will be a little bit different than mass gatherings, but it would I don't want to say you need to stay for it, especially if it's going to cost you so much more money flying home. But typically it is also recorded too, so you can always kind of watch it together as a group when you get home.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I went to the one they had in 2012 in New Orleans, and it was neat to see that in the Superdome, but we're going back and forth. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I saw that it said that if you were leaving before the end of the Saturday morning worship, that you had to leave from your hotel. But do you have to leave from the hotel you're staying in, or could you walk to the nearest hotel associated with the gathering and catch a shuttle from there?
You know what? I was thinking that earlier too, because if you go on the motor coach site, it asks where you want to be dropped off, and then it asks where you want to be picked up. And there's either the luggage thing, or you can pick a list of different hotels. The hotels will be, I guess there will be signs out there the saying that you'll know where to be picked up and dropped off. So if you're thinking that option, you might want to check that out maybe a day before, just to make sure you know exactly where you're going.
Okay.
But yeah, they did say that there will be clear ELCA signs on where to be picked up and dropped off for the shuttle. But I mean, I would think that would be an option. You might want to triple check with the motor coach company, but it gave you the option to pick which hotels to pick up and drop off.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, I'm going to be open for any questions. If anybody has anything, definitely reach out to me. I'm here, and if not, I will either see you on April 27th or down in New Orleans. Like I said, I definitely want to try to check in with everybody and make sure everybody's good, but we're almost there. All right, guys. Well, if there's no other questions, you're free to go.
Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.